Hey, let's start. Can you guys hear me? I can't see you. Um, I know that some of you can't have your videos on, but tell me in the chat, show me if you can actually hear me. Or I can unmute you. Just quickly see. Yes, you can hear me, Nicole. Good. So, awesome. Okay. Welcome, welcome. I am so excited for you guys to be here tonight. And I actually am so proud of you for taking this hour for yourself to be on this webinar. So I'm quickly going to share my screen and then we can start. Let me just quickly. So, okay. So, what I want to chat to you about tonight is the missing piece in your weight loss journey and what no one told you. So, before we talk about weight, before we talk about eating habits, before we talk about training, there's something that we all know comes with a weight loss journey, and that is the exhaustion, the mental and the physical exhaustion of a weight loss journey. That constant thinking about your body, what you ate, what you shouldn't have eaten, starting over again and again. And somewhere, you know that somewhere in between the starting over again and again, there might be a thought of, am I lazy? Is there something wrong with me? Why can't I just stick to this diet? Well, I want to assure you, the fact that you're here tonight shows me something. It shows me that you're not lazy, you're not weak, you're definitely not broken. And it's not that you don't care. You probably care too much because I'm sure you've been through the training, you've been through the diet, you've tried your best, and maybe you've lost the weight, but something keeps happening. And that is why you are here tonight. So, sorry, I just quickly want to change this because this is not going to bother me. If you can just hold on for me a sec. Okay. So, in my many years of helping mainly women in their weight loss journeys, I've realized that people can be categorized in three different groups: the group A, B, and C. Group A is where you can't lose the weight, people who struggle to lose the weight. Group B is the group who lose the weight and regain it. And then C is the group who lose it, but they still feel like something is missing. They still don't feel at peace. Sometimes people think that when they lose the weight, all their problems are going to disappear. They're going to be happy. Um, they're going to be at a place where everything is going to be easier. And then they lose the weight and they realize, oh my goodness, that is not the case. So I want you to please tell me in the comments where you see yourself. Are you the person who can't lose the weight? Are you the person who lose it and regain it? Or are you the person who lose it but still feels like something is missing? Be honest with me. I promise you, I've been part of all three groups. So yeah, tell me in the comments, where in what group do you fit yourself? All three. I think we've all been through stages where we change from A to B and B to C and maybe back to B and A again. Um, yeah, B and C. Well, the let me tell you that they might look like all different situations, but they all got the same underlying pattern. And that is why tonight is not going to be just a normal diet conversation. I'm not going to give you macros. I'm not going to give you 10 foods that make you lose weight faster. I'm not going to give you the best exercises. Tonight, I want to share something with you that took me years to understand. And I promise you, once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Tonight, we're going to unpack why you start over, group A, why the weight comes off and comes back, and why when it comes off, some of us still feel unsettled because there's a pattern that sits underneath. To explain this pattern to you, I'm gonna give you examples, and I'm sure you are going to see yourself in more than one of those examples. So let's say, for instance, you had a good weekend. You attended a wedding, and every time Harry was looking for you or your friends were looking for you, you were at the dessert table. You had a good weekend. Or maybe, like me, we enjoy pizza and something sweet from Woolies. You had a good weekend and wasn't a diet weekend. So Monday morning, before your feet hit that floor, you just know it. You know your tummy feels soft, your face feels puffy. You just know. You don't have to get on the scale. You know it's not going to be a good one. You walk past the mirror and you just glance. You don't even want to look in that mirror. You feel it. Or maybe you see a photo of yourself. One of your friends took a photo and you see that photo and your heart just drops. You look at it and you compare it to a previous photo and you can't believe that this is actually how you look, how you've been looking for how long, and no one has told you that maybe you've put on a little bit of weight. Well, somewhere in between there, something shifts. And that's a shift from discomfort to decision. That's where we decide, you know what? I'm done. Tomorrow is the day. I'm starting over. I'm doing this right. You get your diet, you get your training program, and you're ready for it. You order your groceries or go buy your groceries and you clean out that grocery cupboard. And it's that kind of cleaning where it's an emotional cleaning. It's an angry cleaning. You clean that cupboard, but you're so upset with yourself because how can you find yourself in this spot yet again? But then the restart high starts where you actually get motivated about this new road you're going to walk. You're going to diet, you're going to exercise, you've got your plan, you're motivated, you feel like you've got everything in control, and you're going to do this. There comes a point where you can see the weight disappearing. You can hear people giving you compliments. You imagine that shopping spree where you're going to buy smaller clothes. You know you're going to lose this weight, and it goes well. You train, you eat correctly, you say no to things, and you do well. And then all of a sudden, life happens. Emotions happens. Maybe it's that time of the month. Maybe you've got an argument at home or argument at the work. You feel lonely. You feel that kind of tired that sleep can't fix. You're emotional. And that evening, you walk into the kitchen and you see a chocolate cake standing in the kitchen. Everyone has had their piece, but you said no. And there's something inside you that says, you know what? I've tried so hard. I've done so well. I deserve this. Just a small bite. That's nothing. And you have your small bite and you go to bed. And the next morning, you wake up. And it's not the food that hurts. It is the shift in how you see yourself. I'm going to say that again. It's the shift in how you see yourself. Because there's a voice. And that voice is harsh. That voice is asking you why. Why you can't stick to a diet ever. Why you always mess this up. I can never just stick to something. What's wrong with me? That voice. And that voice leads to the restart. Let's start again. Let's try again. Let's try again tomorrow. You go on the restart high. You've got that motivation and control. And then life happens. And it's that voice again. And we restart again. And the problem with this picture is that voice, the restart over and over again, that voice leads to a shift in identity. Because now that voice might tell you, can't you stick to a diet? Why do you fail all the time? You can't stick to a diet. You can't stick to a training program. And it's not long. Then that voice leads to identity. Flows to your identity, where your identity becomes from someone who can't stick to a diet. And that later flows to the rest of who you are in your life out there. It becomes, I'm a failure at my diet. So what is the chance that I'm not going to fail in my business? What's the chance that I'm not going to fail in my relationships, in my friendships? That is where it might lead. And that is where the problem comes in. The voice. I always mess it up. What's wrong with me? I can never just stick to something. So you can't do this alone. You need someone to control you. You're not strong enough. Maybe you are the person who's lost a lot of weight. We know that a lot of ladies these days use injections and supplements to lose weight. Maybe you've lost all that weight. But the voice inside might still ask, so you can't do this alone. And then tomorrow, next month, next year, you might believe your identity might have the belief that you need a crutch in life. You need a crutch in your diet. Don't I need a crutch to run my business? Can I actually be the CEO of my business if I need a crutch in something small like a diet or training program? That voice, which becomes the identity, that makes you believe that incompetence is there, independence, you're dependent on that supplement, failure. You might be the person who lost the weight in a healthy way. And in that whole process, the food and the diet and the training has taken control of your life. There was a time in my life where I wouldn't go to the farm to visit my parents because I knew there wasn't a gym. And I believed that I wouldn't train as hard if there's no gym. I didn't want to get into the argument with my mum if I say, sorry, I can't eat anything you made. I'm not going to have that dessert because my diet and my fitness program was in control of my body, was in control of my decisions. The problem is you're not fighting your weight anymore. You're fighting who you believe you are. The uncomfortable truth is all three of those groups are experiencing the same problem. And it's not discipline. It's not knowledge. It's not laziness. I mean, you guys you guys got discipline. You show up for your kids. You show up for your work. You show up for hubby. You show up for people you love. So you've got the discipline. It's not knowledge. You've got all the info. I'm sure you've got the diets. You've got the training programs. Knowledge is not the problem. And laziness, we know is not the problem because you're here tonight. It all comes from the same root. So tonight, I want to pause before I explain what the root is, because there's something about me that you need to understand. And that is that whatever I'm telling you tonight, yes, it's been proven in theory, it's been proven in research, but I've lived all of it. Everything I've described, I've lived it. So I've been in the fitness industry for more than 20 years, but I've always believed that discipline was the answer. With discipline and motivation, you can do anything in life. And part of it is true. So I've been in the fitness industry for 20 plus years. I've been through type 2 diabetes. Actually, that was my first diet I ever wrote, and my first fitness plan that I wrote myself. And by the grace of God, well, I believe that food is medicine. So with food and diet, and by the grace of God, I could reverse type 2 diabetes in 6 weeks. What I want to show you here is the control I had over my body. I did magazine fitness shoots. And whatever they asked of me, I accomplished. When it was a normal bikini shoot, I would look perfect for that shoot. When it was a bodybuilding shoot, I would look perfect for a bodybuilding shoot. I took control of my body, and I was in control. Post-pregnancy fitness shoot. In 9 months, I could do a fitness shoot. I controlled my body. So discipline was never my weakness. Until one day, discipline wasn't enough. There was a season in my life that changed everything. And that was a season where I was forced to break my engagement a month before my wedding. That was a time where my son has lost a male figure and a sister. I had to move forward without a little girl that I thought is going to be my little stepdaughter for the rest of my life. And in that season, on the day that my wedding was supposed to happen, I did a fitness shoot. And when I look at that photos, I see that I was incredibly strong. I looked strong from the outside, but from the inside, I had so much grief, anger, and unforgiveness. Do you know what did I do? The moment this happened, I took control of my body, because that made me think that I could take control of the pain to prove that I was okay. That is what I used to do for many years. Take control of your body and you're in control of your life. That is what I believed. But the wake-up call came when I trained harder, I controlled more, my diet was strict. And at points where there were times where my body just stopped responding. So what would I do? I would take more control. I would train even harder. I would control more. My diet would be stricter. And my body would just push back more. The injury started, the fatigue started, my weight started shifting. The scale started showing that I was putting on weight. And I remember standing in front of the mirror one morning and thinking, what is happening? For so many years, I could control my body. Whatever I told my body, whatever diet I gave my body, whatever fitness program I gave my body, it reacted. And all of a sudden, I'm doing everything I know. I'm training, I'm helping women in the fitness industry. I'm helping women in their weight loss journeys. They ask me for advice. I'm the person who helped them lose the weight. And all of a sudden, my body is not reacting to what I'm giving my body. But the realization came when my body forced me to stop. My body was just too tired. And I got the diagnosis of cancer. I had to stop. For the first time in my life, control was no longer an option. Where I would normally ask, how do I push harder to control and to get what I wanted, the result that I wanted? I now had to ask, what did I have to do to protect my body? And it took me very long to realize that my body wasn't failing me. My body was protecting me. Because what I did is because I refused to work through a process of emotional blocks for what was happening on the inside. My body had to carry those emotional weights as well. So the undeniable breaches, when you look at those three groups, group A, B, and C, it's all different situations. It's all, they used all different tools, they had different outcomes, but the same root problem. And as a weight loss specialist and trainer, I'm telling you today, what I've realized is diets, there are things diets ignore. And the main thing is your body is not a calorie system. Your body is a nervous system. And a nervous system has got one job, and that is to keep you safe. Your nervous system don't care if you look good in a photo. Your nervous system doesn't care about a six-pack. Your nervous system keeps you safe. The problem is your body can't tell the difference between different stresses in life. Emotional stress, physical stress, financial stress, relationship stress, life pressure. Unforgiveness, that was a big one for me. Grief. To your nervous system, stress is stress. And stress leads to a body that wants to protect, a body that pushes back. So whatever diet, whatever training program you give your body, you're not going to get the result you want if your body is not in a safe place, if the emotional blocks hasn't shifted. So when we look at protection mode versus safety mode, protection mode is obviously where your body protects you. That's a place where you're holding weight, where you've got a whole lot of cravings, you sabotage consistency, you panic when you get on that scale. It's a stress factor. That's sometimes all you can think about. What is the scale going to say? The fear of gaining weight back. And then when our body is on safety mode, that is where we've got stable habits, easier fat loss, because your body is in a place where it feels safe. Consistency, relaxed around food, and you trust your body. Because a body that's regulated gives easier weight loss because it's a body that is in a safe environment. Then again, the identity shift that I spoke about earlier, your behavior will always rise or fall to match what you believe you are. If your identity is, I'm a failure, your habits and your thoughts is that of someone is going to fail because you believe you're a failure. You're going to make decisions according to that, and your behavior is going to be that. And the result, unfortunately, is going to be that. And if you believe that you're a failure in your diet and in your fitness program, the chance that you don't think that you might fail at life outside of your weight loss journey is very small. It doesn't matter if you change the diet, if you change the training program, if your identity doesn't shift. you're gonna be stuck in that restarting cycle. You're gonna start over and over again. And every time you fail, you're gonna feel like more than a failure. And that is why it's so important that you have to work on the root. The cycle repeats because your nervous system takes you back to where it feels familiar. And unfortunately, the familiar place is the place of your belief. That is the familiar place to your nervous system. You believe you're a failure, that's where you're going to end up. The problem is if you don't sort out your emotional weight underneath that physical weight, you're going to be stuck in that restart cycle. So my realization as a weight loss specialist is workouts were never the full answer. Nutrition was never the full answer. They matter, and they matter a lot. I mean, I do what I do because I know how important it is, but they are not the root. And that is why I created the Rooted Body Method. I help people with their workouts, I help people with their nutrition, but something was missing. And that is why I had to create the Rooted Body Method. I knew that there are so many women out there that don't understand why they fall in A, B, or C. Because if we don't fix the root, whatever you do on the surface is not going to give you the result you want. It's also not going to give you the result you deserve. Because you might work out 20 hours a day. Your nutrition might be on point. But if you don't fix the root, you're not going to get the results. Most weight loss programs focuses on the calories, the food rules, the workouts, and the discipline. Like I just said, if we don't fix the root, the nervous system safety, emotional weight, identity and belief, stress and overwhelm, and self-trust, then the surface is not going to give you what you work for and what you want. But once we fix the root, it doesn't just lead to a road of weight loss. It leads to a road where we fix identity and where the rest of your life changes because your beliefs change. So inside the Rooted Body Method, we focus on 3 internal shifts: regulation, not restriction, identity before strategy, and then clearing the hidden weight. Regulation, not restriction. Like I told you, a body that stresses is going to resist any strategy you give it, whether it's weight loss or whether it's a diet, whether it is a certain fitness program. You can jump from one fitness program to the next. It's going to resist when your body is in stress. A regulated body responds to the strategy you give it. So we teach your body safety again. Identity before strategy. We need to look at identity before we can give your body a strategy. So we shift identity first and then rebuild self-trust with your body. Clearing the hidden weight, that emotional weight. Because once the emotional weight drops, the physical weight follows. Inside this program, I guide you on exactly how to do this step by step. So you're not alone. And remember, I've been through this. This is not just theory. I've walked the road. Life looks different when the root shifts. And I will tell you how my story changed just now. But when you decide, you know what, you've learned quite a couple of things tonight, and tomorrow you forget to even concentrate on it, to even try to change a couple of things, then the root is going to stay the same, the before. Constant restarts, food controls your mind and energy, the weight goes up and down, self-trust keeps breaking. and your body feels like the enemy because you're going to fight your body all the time. You're going to give it the diet and you're going to give it the training program, and it's just going to fight you. Not because you lack discipline, but because the root never shifted. Once we shift the root, there's stability. Food becomes neutral. Your weight stabilizes. Self-trust rebuilds, and your body works with you again. This is the difference between fighting yourself and finally addressing the root. So my life, when I walked through the Rooted Body Method, I had an entire life transformation. And to tell you, I know about people that has been working through the emotional blocks, and in 2 years they were financially free. I promise you. That is what can happen when our beliefs and our identities shift. My life no longer looked like survival. I'm a single mom, a beautiful boy, and there were a time in my life where I was just surviving for the next day. I just wanted to get through this day. Once I went through the Rooted Body Method transformation, I had energy again. I play sports with my boy. I've got confidence and a clear mind in such a way that my business transformed, my business grew. I was the single mom who believed in the beginning, before I changes, before I moved and I shifted my roots. I believed that a single mom means that you're going to struggle. That's it. You're going to struggle. You're going to be alone. Life is going to be hard until my root shifts. And you know what? Today, I'm the businesswoman who started with a fitness, with a weight loss business in my garage. That's where I started. And that's why at that time I believed that is what I was built for. I was built for Bloemfontein. I was built for just a couple of women. Maybe I can make a difference in a couple of women's lives. Until I shifted my roots. And today I'm making a difference in lives around the world. Today I'm not just the CEO of my own business. I'm helping other people build their businesses, being the CEOs in their businesses. Why? Because I've done the Rooted Body Method. I've walked the path. I shifted my root. And I went from believing that because society is telling me because you're a single mother, you will always struggle. I shifted to the belief of I can accomplish anything. I'm the single mother who can show my child how it's done. When you shift your identity, when you believe you can accomplish anything. And that is because of confidence and a clear mind. It changed how I show up as a mother. And today I'm living the holiday life with my boy. I was fortunate enough to go on 4 holidays last year as a single mother. And I could spend quality time with my son. My focus was not on a diet and a fitness program and stress about what are we going to eat tonight? What if I eat the wrong thing? How's tomorrow going to look on the scale? No. Because my body finally settled. I lost the weight in a normal way. I don't train half as hard as I used to. I don't eat like I used to. Yes, I'm healthy, but it's not those strict diets from one diet to the next to the next. And I'm in shape. I'm happy with how I look. I'm happy with the person that I am because my roots shifted. So the honest truth is you can go home tonight and you can go through what I taught you tonight. You can go and make a couple of changes in how you see yourself. You can go through the methods that I explained. But to be honest with you, it took me 3 years to understand this. I had no guidance. I had no structure. It was just trial and error. But I know that without structure, when the moment life gets busy, it fades. When someone doesn't keep you accountable for focusing on shifting the routes, it becomes difficult. Because as women, the moment life gets busy, we start putting ourselves at the back of the line and we focus on the happiness and the busyness of everyone we love around us, our kids, our husbands, our partners. The focus shifts to the rest of our world and not ourselves. So the Rooted Body Method, let me quickly tell you a little bit about what I do in the Rooted Body Method. It's a 6-week guided process to help your body finally settles. It took me 3 years. It took me 3 years. I wish there was a program like the Rooted Body Method where I could have done this in 6 weeks. In 6 weeks, you're gonna have live coaching sessions with me, a framework to identify patterns that keep you stuck, simple nervous system regulation tools, identity shift exercises to rebuild self-trust, and obviously I'm going to give you a nutritional guidance aligned to your specific lifestyle, custom made. And then a sustainable fitness direction that supports your body. Not a fitness program that's gonna make you feel like you're in the gym, like it's used to be. A fitness program that's going to support this process. And that's also the reason why I'm taking small groups. I'm only taking 10 people at a time because I want to be present with every person inside. So let me quickly, I'm sure you want to know how much this is going to be. We always want to know how much we have to invest in something. So let me quickly put this in perspective. If you had to pay separately only for 6 weeks of personal coaching, one-on-one, personal nutritional guidance that's customized for you and for your lifestyle, fitness programming, and emotional integration work, you would easily be looking at $2,000 to $3,000. Well, because I know how many women needs this, and because my heart is there to help, I decided to give the 6-week guided transformation. Guys, this is not another weight loss program. This is not another training program. This is an entire life transformation. The normal investment for it is $1,500. But I've decided that for the first 10 people to subscribe, to enroll to the Rooted Body Method, I'm going to give it to you at $750. It's only going to be for the first 10 people. So once those enrollments are filled, I'm going to close enrollments and I'm only going to work with those 10 people because I want to be present. I want to walk this road with you for the 6 weeks. So it's going to be $750. So at this point in my presentation, people normally have a couple of questions. So let me quickly answer it for you. I just want to check the time. I don't have time. This is going to be one weekly session and small daily practices that fit into your real life. Believe me, if you take the time to do this for the next 6 weeks, it's going to be 6 hours. It's going to be an hour a week. And then just daily practices. If you take the time to do this, after these 6 weeks, you're going to have so much more time for yourself, for your family. This is an investment. Number 2, it's a lot of money. I believe that the cycle of your emotional and your mental cycle has cost you way more than this. This is 6 weeks of your life. You can decide to stick to the restart cycle. That cycle can continue for the next 3 years, And you might realize then that if you moved your emotional blocks, if you sorted out your emotional blocks 3 years ago, which is today, you would have been at a far better place. The cost of your identity that's going down the drain, if I can call it that, with every restart cycle, that voice that tells you how you can't accomplish this and you can't accomplish that. That is not in my, if I can say, that is not, if this was my choice, I would much rather take 6 weeks of your life, work through the emotional blocks, and be the person you're supposed to be after it. We're not supposed to have the identities that the voices in our heads give to us. We are supposed to live abundantly. Number 3, what if it doesn't work for me? So I've opened my calendar for you guys for the next 4 days. So if you're not sure if this is for you, you're more than welcome to book a 15-minute clarity call with me. You've got I'm gonna, in the next slide, I will give you the link in the chat as well. It's www.rooted.christinevfit.com sales page. You can go there, you can book a 15-minute call with me. It's only going to be for the next 4 days. And remember, I'm only going to take the first 10 people at the special price, okay? If you remember nothing else from tonight, I want you to remember this. Your body repeats what your nervous system believes, not just what your diet says. When the root shifts, everything else becomes easier to sustain. You might start with the root shift because you struggle with your weight. But once you shift those roots, the rest of your life is going to change. I'm a testimony for that. I wish I did this earlier in my life, but I'm so glad that I took 3 years of my life to work through this and that I can live the life I'm living today. If something shifted in you tonight, you have 2 options. You can enroll directly to the Rooted Body Method. It is on that link that I just gave you, or you can book a 15-minute clarity call with me, like I just said. I'm quickly going to give it to you in the chat, the link. Right. Okay. That is the link. So you can go there, you can read about the program again if you like. You can book a clarity call with me. Here's the link. You can book a clarity call with me, or you can sign up for the Rooted Body Method. Okay, and then I want you to do whatever you do, don't disappear back into that same restart cycle, because you don't need another restart. You need a reshift. Okay, guys, we do have a couple of minutes for questions. So if you have any questions, you can put your questions, put it in the chat, and then I will answer that for you. No questions. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope you've learned something. I hope there's something that you can take home. But if you feel like you want to do a clarity call with me, you're more than welcome. Have a look at my diary, go book on that sales, on that link, and Yeah, maybe I see you in the rooted body method. You're so welcome there. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate. I'm so glad. Thank you guys. Have a good evening.